Group fitness instructor, personal trainer for almost 18 years. Got into pole about 8 years ago. Now I teach trainings internationally, so I'm able to see how a lot of studios do their spotting, how they teach. So a lot of the things we're going to do today are different things that I picked up around the country and then also in Mexico. One thing I want you to know is that people remember they remember 55% of what they see. They remember 35% of what they hear, but it's not your words, it's your tone of voice. And they only remember 8% of what you actually say. So when you're teaching and you're spewing a lot of information out there, they are probably not grasping much of it. They're definitely paying attention to your tone of voice. And you also want to keep all of your cues very nice and clear and short so that they can actually grasp some of what you're saying. So Susie is going to actually be the person that we work on. One of the things to know is assisting is to spot or is to actually give aid or to push. Spotting is when you're teaching a class and you're watching around your class for anything that could possibly go wrong. And then you're over to that person. You definitely want to explain to the student any type of things she's warming up. You can warm up, that's fine. Any of the possible mistakes that could go wrong. Usually one of the things that people forget is to tell somebody how to come out of a move before they go into it. Sometimes they'll get into a move and then they'll be like, oh yeah, wait, let me tell you all of this while you're upside down and you're not really listening to me anyway. One of the things you want to do if you assist somebody, ask permission. Is it okay if I help you? Is it okay if I touch you? You need to create a stable base for yourself. You can squat or lunge or coming down onto a knee. You don't want to get injured in the process of squatting or spotting someone or assisting with them. You want to lift with your legs and not your back. If you're bending over when you're spotting somebody, that's going to put a lot of pressure on your back, so you do want to come down. You want to usually touch the bones of the body, touch the hard spots, not the soft spots. Not spotting by grabbing their bottom or their chest. Some of the moves here and there when you spot somebody, especially if they're a very small woman, like in a Superman, I've spotted somebody and I felt like, oh my gosh, there's no extra body to grab. So here and there, you know, I've made a mistake of being like, I'm so sorry, I just touched you. So with the hips, we're going to hold onto the sides. We've got the back. There's a back support. There's a thigh support. There's different ways of spotting, shoulder mounts, cartwheel mounts, all of that type of stuff. Do know you're not required to hold a person up. If a student doesn't have enough strength to almost execute the move, and there might just be missing a little bit, offer them some other things to do. They need to be able to be strong enough to actually do the move. And, like I said before, you're not required to hold a person up. Usually what you want to do is direct them down to the ground, keep their head up. Everything we're doing is to help them go more butt first. So, because if they fall on their head or neck, they're more likely to get injured. Okay. So, we'll just go right into this. One of the things that, especially because I provide continuing education for the American Council on Exercise, we had to kind of make it a little bit very safe and step processes and how we actually teach this. So this would be a seated inversion. You're going to go ahead and sit on the ground, on the side of the pole. She's going to straighten her leg and bend this leg. So it's like a Valdez in gymnastics. I'm going to put my hand on her back and on her thigh. And actually come to this on a diagonal. Is it okay if I spot you? So I'm going to help her bring her leg around in front and the other leg behind. Now one of the things that can happen is they hit the ground a little bit quick if they haven't been practicing this. Or we have them lay down first and start from the ground to first find where their legs need to be. So she's going to first bring her foot up and behind. She knows what she's doing, so it's a lot easier. And I make sure that she understands we're squeezing the legs together. It is a little bit more awkward to teach somebody from the ground, but at least this way you're doing it in a much safer place. And then go ahead and lie down. So sitting up more into the Valdez position, we're straightening the legs. She's going to push off with this leg. You can actually do it. We don't have to pretend you don't know. And then I'm going to move to her hips. Now, this is more what I would do if she's up higher. Oftentimes with somebody who's doing it from the ground, they're actually not going to be able to do this position. They'll put their shoulders on the ground. So you'll just make sure they're looking up at the sky and we slowly come down. Just going to bring her back onto the ground and then slowly come all the way down. So go ahead and do it one more time. Actually, go ahead and stand up. We're going to skip through a lot of things because there's some fun, interesting ways of spotting.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
People love it.
Nope,
really
not ready. I'm sorry.
Where they're... It's like one of these.
So I'm just going to have you kick up. Okay? She's going to kick with her outside leg. And I'm going to shift my hands around to her legs. Now with this, I'm actually going to hold on to the soft part because if she falls, I've got her hip bones in place. So she can't fall through it. If I'm holding here on her hips, it's more likely I'm just going to get her pants as she comes down. Right? So we're right here. And then just going to tuck her head. We're going to slowly come down. I'm going to squat down. Okay. Now, if somebody's quite a bit bigger, one of the things that some people will do is to use their leg to support or their body to support or push the person more against the pole. Go ahead and stand up. And this is also helpful to arrange the legs because I can let go and just keep my body on her and I can move her legs. And here's the thing, okay, I say move the legs. Usually with spotting you're going to say move this foot here. And you're going to tell them to move their leg towards you, not manipulate their leg because they're contracted. They're in a contracted position. So if I try to arrange their leg, they're more likely to get injured. So it's better to just say, okay, this leg, move it over, move your leg towards me. But there is a bit of arranging of the knee folds you can do here or there, or use your hands to touch them. But you've got to do all of that very carefully. Any of the manipulation of the body. Yeah. Oh yeah, to touch it. So if I'm telling them a lot of words, they're not even paying attention. They're just like, oh my gosh, I'm upside down. So move this leg here. I'll show you with the body. Yeah, go ahead and do it this way. So I'm going to be right here. Go ahead, pick up.
I've been looking for a romper here in town.
And go ahead and bring your body down a little bit lower. So she's really good at getting a little bit higher. You can see my chest is really in her back. And so her butt's more on my shoulders. So I'm pushing her against the pole slightly. And it actually feels very secure. One of the ways you can understand how these things feel is to actually have somebody spot you and arrange their hands differently. This feels very secure. So go ahead and mesh your legs up a little bit. Just move them. And so from here I can be like, okay, move this leg up. Or I can just bring the legs together.
I actually have my Brazil cup.
So I can hold her right now. So I've got my chest pushing against her lower back. Okay?
Strip down.
And then like a baby. So that's, using the body is really helpful. Because your arms are not that strong, but you've got a lot more body weight. So if you have somebody, you can press them to the pole. It doesn't hurt either when you press them. It doesn't hurt them. Alright, so go ahead and come up. I'm going to use my leg. Now what I want you to do is just do an inversion and keep your body relatively close to the ground. So kind of butt out. Yeah. Like you're just hanging. Okay, so go ahead and hip up and then let your body come down. Your butt come down. So here. So some people will use their leg to support somebody so they can get the idea of how to do this, especially when that person is bigger. Because your leg is pretty strong, and this is a very, she could sit on me and I would be fine, right? Okay, go ahead and stand up. So one of the things that's very important is, especially with new teachers, is moving your hands from here to the hips and moving them quickly. And I'll show you another way to actually spot this. So let's go do it again. So go ahead and stand this way. Yep. Yeah, go ahead and kick this leg. And I move quick.
Yeah, I got it.
So right here I got her. right? I can look up, see what I've got. And then we'll go ahead and come down. And you can actually just kick down. You don't have to come all the way down. Okay? So there's another hand position. It's more of a back tuck hand position. So go ahead and stand like that, right like this. Go so full like you're going to invert. And what I'm going to do as an instructor is this. Now this for you might be like, oh, this is awkward. How's this going to make a bit of sense? But your hands are already where they need to be for the person who's upside down. So that would be how you would spot more of that tuck. Yeah. So here, look to the side. I'm going to, yep. So I'm right there. Okay? Go ahead and come back down. And let's go ahead and we'll do it facing this way so you can see. I'll be to the side. Right here. Yep. So right there. Okay? So that's a back tuck grip. Now, it makes a lot of sense when somebody's doing a shoulder mount. We'll do shoulder mount. Do it facing them so then you can see your hand. So my hand is underneath and I'm right here. Right? Then go ahead and come down. Good. Any questions with that? So it's just a little bit of an awkward position at first for the spotter, but their hands are already there. Remember, we do have a nice tight grip in the waist so the hips will fall through. And the other thing is your students feel a lot more secure with doing these things if you really have them. You know, if their pants are falling down, your hands are sliding down their legs, they're not going to feel as secure. A lot of teachers have other teachers spot them who they know really have their back.